Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we get any further into this, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for always coming through. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications, hit that like button, and last but definitely not least, be sure to drop a comment down below when done. And y'all know that I got y'all with a response. So today, I got 3 very special builds that I'm bringing out to y'all today. Now, all of these builds are out of position builds, and what I mean by that is, for example, on this first one, it's going to be called a small ball forward, but made out of the small forward position. Normally, a small ball forward, honestly, it's a power forward, but today we're making it out of the small forward, which is honestly why I say it is out of position, because the name does not match up with the position that we're putting it under. A small forward is the 3 in basketball, power forward is the 4. So let's go ahead and get right into the making of this build, and I promise you all of these builds have something very special coming with them. First, as you can see, when it comes down to the finishing on this build, we are going to be able to maintain a good amount of badges being 18, and once you do adjust the wingspan on a lot of builds, you're really going to be able to see the potential with what these builds are going to be coming with. So honestly, I like the finishing when it comes down to this build. 26 shooting badges, which is really going to come in handy, but then when you look at the playmaking, we do get 17. Now we got just enough stats left over to go ahead and max out that interior defense as well as the defensive rebound. Now honestly, the reason why I have the defensive and how I do is because I need to maintain this build name and bring it to y'all. So that is why, if you want to go ahead and adjust anything, do it based off of your own preference. So when it comes down to the height on this build, very specific when it comes down to the small forward position. This all really comes down to what you can adjust when it comes down to how the build name is going to come out to be. So I'm going to go with the max height. Then when it comes down to the weight, be sure to adjust it to your liking, but I promise you, do not go anything higher than what I did. And then as for the wingspan, if you go with a 92.0, you're going to be able to still maintain park dunks on this build, and then also the shooting is still going to be really solid, especially depending on which takeover you do pick. And remember, from each season you do get 1 extra badge point, so if you want to throw all of them on the defensive end, that is something that I would highly consider if you're looking to make this build. But as you can see, we get the post scoring as well as the slashing takeover, and with the slashing you're going to be able to get contact dunks, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. And as y'all can see, we have made the small ball 4 build out of the small forward position, and I love the comparisons of Brandon Ingram as well as James Shuttleworthy, I should say. Now let's go ahead and move on to the second build that I got lined up for y'all. And like I said, these builds are only going to continue to get more special, more rare, and with what you're able to do with them, I promise you, I am only going to be bringing y'all the most fire and rare builds. So if you are still here, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and join and become a part of the Rich Gang family, y'all. So let's go ahead and take it a step further now. Now, a lot of you have probably already seen this build name going to be called a slashing playmaker, but today we are making it out of the power forward position. And as we finish this build up, you're going to see why and how much more rare and special this specific slashing playmaker is going to be from what we are used to seeing, especially being made out of the power forward position. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, when it comes down to the breakdown for the finishing on this build, you have to have a very strong inside game and finishing when it comes down to any slashing playmaker build. So I'm going to go ahead and max out that driving dunk, driving layup, as well as the close shot. That's going to give us 15 badges on this build. When it comes down to the shooting, you're definitely going to be able to still be able to shoot. So I'm going to go ahead and max out every single thing when it comes down to the shooting on this build. If you feel like taking off any attributes, you definitely can do so, but I feel like 12 badges is going to be perfect. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the playmaking. As you can see, you want to max out the top 2 categories. The pass accuracy with the ball handle is going to allow us to get 14 badges. Then we still got a good amount left over for the defensive end. So as you can see, just be careful to keep that perimeter defense at a 59 or lower. If you go anything higher, the build name will change. But as you can see, 10 defensive badges on this build is not bad at all. Then on top of all that, consider what this build is going to be looking like once you do unlock extra badge attributes, as well as get this build to 99. Now, for the body shape, I'm telling you, if you want to take up the most space, go with built or burly. This build happens to be made out of the metric system, so all you got to go ahead and do is go into your settings. Then from there, change the units of measurement from imperial to metric, or metric to imperial. Then when it comes down to the weight now, as you can see, 82 kilograms is going to be perfect for me. And honestly, if you do grind this build out, we do have the potential to get the contact dunks that everybody wants. So if you do decide to go about it the way that I'm making it, I promise you all of the animations are really going to come in handy, especially with the pro dribble moves, y'all. So you're going to be able to get both once you do grind this build out. I promise you, this is really going to be one of the best, if not the best, versions of the slashing playmaker that we will ever see. I love the fact that the finishing is looking good, the playmaking is still solid, as well as the shooting. Then we do get the slashing playmaking paired up with the shot creating takeover. Now if you want shooting boost, go ahead and pick that shot creating takeover. If you want to go ahead and get more contact dunks, you already know what you need to do. But now let's go ahead and check out the build name. And as y'all can see, we have made the slashing playmaker build. And I'm telling you, with the shooting boost, you're going to be able to break ankles because of the shot creating takeover. But on top of all that, you're getting a plus 10 to your area of shooting. Then consider bind boost, getting this build to 99, as well as running with teammates that do have floor general. Really going to change up what this build is going to be able to do. Probably more better made out of the power forward position rather than the shooting guard or even point guard. Now I saved the best for last, and if you are still here, just be sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Drop a comment on which build you feel like you want to make, and the last build that I'm bringing y'all today is honestly probably the most rare center but all around build in all of 2K ever, the point center build. Now, if there were 2 NBA players that I can think of who would really equate to this name, is going to be one, Jokic on the Nuggets, or you can consider Bol, but he does not play even close to the amount that Jokic does. But this is who that build name is going to be coming from. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you are still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. To the loyals. Now, let's go ahead and get into the pie chart for this one. You definitely want to go ahead and pick the full playmaking pie chart, the orange or yellow, whatever you see it to be. Now, let's go ahead and get into the physical profile. Now, as you can see, you can always go with the very first one, but if you want to spread the wealth just a little bit on the physical end, you're going to want to go ahead and pick the fourth, just so that vertical gets a huge boost compared to the first one. But we're going to go ahead and stick with the speed on this build when it comes down to every single attribute on this build. Just be sure to follow along, because this build is very specific with the attributes. So when it comes down to the finishing, right now we're going to skip over that. But when it comes down to the shooting, max out the first 3 categories. Go ahead and put that post fade to a 68, and we're going to be able to get 12 shooting badges. As for the playmaking, if you follow along exactly, you're going to be able to get 28 playmaking badges. The defensive end is still going to be solid as long as you put with what the attributes that I put on. You're going to be okay. 11 defensive badges. I really like that, especially when you take into consideration what this build will look like once you add the extra badge points to it. Now, the finishing has the potential to change a lot depending on how you go about it when it comes down to the height, weight, and wingspan. Now, for this build, I'm going to go ahead and put it to 6'9", just so that way I am still able to dribble as a center. Then, when it comes down to the weight, this is also a very crucial part. So you don't want to go ahead and max it out. That would be a no-brainer. But if you decide to go ahead and put it to a perfect 193, you're going to be able to get at least a 90 speed once you get this build to 99 and get that gym rat badge. As for the wingspan, we're going to be able to put it to 88.0, or you can go ahead and drop it even lower if you want to. Again, this all comes down to the way that you want to play with this build, but if you want the park dunks, you're going to want to go ahead and put the wingspan of 88.0, and this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like. Now, if you are still here watching until the very end, I just got to go ahead and say thank you, God, for this audience. Thank y'all personally for always sticking through and showing up when it comes down to me dropping a banger for y'all every single day. I love y'all, and I mean that with all of my heart. I appreciate y'all, and just know this is only the start to where God is taking us, and I mean all of us in the Rich Gang family. So if you want to go ahead and join, man, I'm telling you, there are only a couple of things that need to go along with that. And man, this is what it is. Y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to turn on post notifications, hit that like button, and be sure to drop a comment down below when done. Now let's go ahead and get back into the making. As you can see, we do get the playmaking, post scoring with the glass cleaning and rim protector takeover. This all comes down to what you want to do, but I'm going to go with the playmaking, the break ankles, and speed boost. And as y'all can see, we have made the point center build, and I love all three comparisons. Again, thank y'all if you made it to the end. Let me know in the comment section if you did. Drop a like button, hit that sub button, and man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.